welcome back to Live at the Only Stupid Answers. Roxy? Only Stupid Roxy's? We'll figure out exactly how to do that. Sam, what happened already?
You made me laugh.
I made you laugh? That's the best news I've heard all day. Yes, I'm glad you actually spit coffee in your nose. That's right, guys. We are doing a super duper special crossover episode today between Live at the Roxy and Only Stupid Answers. I'm back with my boy people, Sam Basher and DJ Wildridge.
Thank you for having us.
Whoa! It looks like Sam. Do that. Whoa!
Wait, Sam, do it on the other side.
Wow. For you audio only listeners, that probably didn't make any sense. We were clapping together. Let us have the clap together.
Just let us have the clap together. Why don't you?
So the impetus for this crossover event, our Crisis on Infinite crossovers of whatever, again, I still don't know what we're calling this, is that we had an amazing week for nerdy stuff. Superhero news was off the chain. We have not done a Super TV Showdown since the end of Arrow, so we wanted to make sure we were with you guys to talk about, of course, Ruby Rose and the Snyder Cut and all that great stuff, which we will get to. But something my amazing friends over at Only Stupid Answers do to start their show usually is talk about what we're into this week. So, Sam, what you into?
Looking alive. All right. Well,
God damn it. That
intro, you wanted to go first?
No, that intro was just so much better than what we normally do on our show.
It was real tight.
It was really tight.
I like to keep it tight.
Yeah.
Like a toiger. What movie is that? Tight like a toiger.
That's for the patrons to find out.
You guys let us know. Yes.
But to kick it off, I have been working on some projects of my own to kind of help pass the time. But I'll talk about this. I finished and started. Sorry, other way around. I started and then finished.
It'd be crazy if you finished and then started.
You got to watch the end. It's like reading the last page of the book to see if you want to read it. By the way, those people are the worst.
I am one of those psychopaths. That is me. I am she. It is
awful.
Crazy. I hate it about myself. I don't want to be that person, Sam.
Sounds like an addiction.
It's an illness, and you can't make fun of my people for it. I don't know what the illness is called, but I'll get back to you.
Well, listen, the patrons will look it up on Google.
Yeah,
we'll leave it up to the people to decide if I can judge you or not. But I did check out Veep. It's the Julia Louis-Dreyfus comedy series of her as the VP, first female VP of the United States, and just her entire journey through her political career over 7 seasons. Seven seasons, something like that. They're 20-minute episodes, and they are only like 8 or 10 episodes a season, so they're really short. It was very easy to get through based on my binging habits when it comes to new TV shows that I find.
It blows my mind that you watch the entirety of a series and you're like, however many seasons there were.
Yeah, but also very important question, Sam. While you were watching, did you cheat?
No, Sam never cheats. Hashtag Sam never cheats. Sam yeets, if anything.
Sam
yeets. By the way, with us doing some gaming content, actually, that's another thing I'm into, twitch.tv/onlystupidanswers. We've been doing some game content on Fridays, and a couple, some bad apples, as it were, in the chat have been saying a certain banned hashtag. I could actually put that on the banned list, hashtag Sam cheats, if I wanted to. Ulysses Campbell.
I appreciate you guys.
I see Maggie Weber. Seeing a lot of bad apples in the chat right now. It's rather disappointing. That one hurts.
That one hurts.
It might be true, but that hurts.
Wait, so I have a question for you about this Veep binge of yours, because I've tried. I know that Veep is one of the most talked about and praised comedies of our time. I watched the first few episodes and feel like I didn't get it. Not that I didn't understand what was happening, but I was like, I'm not laughing, and that's a bummer. So I don't know that I want to stay with this. Does it get better, or maybe it's just not my sense of humor?
I think it gets better because the way I don't remember in the first season necessarily if that's when they kick off her presidential race. But when they start kicking that off, it becomes really interesting what it takes to, because being a VP, they talk about it on the show, is like, it's kind of like a neutered position where you can't really do anything. You're just like the one who takes the brunt of a lot of what the president does, which sucks. And so when they get into her running for office, it's very interesting. And also they get into a lot of the aspects of the Constitution that you wouldn't know in terms of what happens in special elections. Like what happens, like when it gets like crazy, like crazy scenarios you talk about with your friends when you're high or you're drunk. You're like, what happens if we did this? And then they start talking about, they explore it on the show. And the more they explore it, it's more of watching all the scary parts about politics, but also the most ridiculous parts of like, it gets to points where you're like, how do they actually make anything happen? Like for real, like how do they change anything for the better or for the worse? I don't know how they do either, because it just seems just impossible to do anything whatsoever.
They do it though? I don't know that they do. Maybe.
Oh, they do a few good things, and then sometimes they just roll it right back. Also, you're able to see very easily how dum-dums and bad people get ahead in politics so easily. They do it just deftly. It's just like all of a sudden you realize, oh my God, that's a congressman now. Like how this monster just become a congressman. It's like, because that's our world, baby. Not to get into politics. Hey, we're talking about fun Batwoman and Snyder Cut things.
Oh, yes, so fun. DJ, have you seen Veep at all? Or you've never?
No, I haven't. My wife started watching it, and then I don't know what happened. We didn't get there. I might go back and revisit it. I know Minnie and Emmy lines the wall of Julia Louis-Dreyfus and the creators of that show. So I should probably check it out at some point. What I checked out this week, a new something borrowed, something blue. No, something new and something old. The new thing, I regret to admit that I've been watching. Not that I've been watching Banshee. I've been enjoying Banshee on Amazon Prime. It's been streaming on Amazon Prime, but I guess it's not anymore, and I can't find out why.
What happened?
So I was like 2 episodes away from the season 3 finale, and then it's just not on Prime. And I was all ready to like sit down and have my dinner, and it wasn't there. I'm like, okay, what am I going to watch? And so I landed on Hulu, FX on Hulu. I watched the first episode of Dave.
Everyone's telling me about this. Everyone is talking about this. DJ, is it as good as the hype?
Depends on your interests. I will say it was pretty funny. For those that don't know, Dave follows internet viral sensation Lil Dicky. Who is known for making satirical raps about his penis, and it kind of explores the idea of what it would take for somebody who's achieved viral fame to become an actual selling artist. And it is funny and it is charming, but there's this level of like, it requires you to care about the struggles of an upper middle class white man who wants to rap, and I don't. And I don't know if the show did a good enough job to make me want to care about like a YouTube celebrity wanting to become a real satirical rapper, I guess. I don't know. So I don't think it's for me per se. It's also a little bit of a bummer. And I don't know. It's like, how many shows do we actually have about rap in the rap community and people trying rap? It's like Atlanta,
yes,
which is admittedly can be pretty like what's the word I'm looking for? Like esoteric
incredible.
In the way that it's incredible. It's an incredible show. I'm looking at the wrong camera. I'm looking at the camera up here. I should be looking at the camera right here. It's incredible, but it's also like it's got a very like Twin Peaks, surreal. It can be very surreal. So It's not like it's not always like a down and dirty look at the rap community.
And then there's the Ali G show.
Okay. Also with the white gentleman. And so now we have Dave, and it's like, so we got one show about becoming a rapper, and then the very next show you're like, well, what if it was a white guy though? So I don't know if it's for me. I don't think I'm going to keep watching it. I do know it's FX. It doesn't matter whether I watch it because it's FX best hitting comedy ever, apparently.
Really?
Yeah. So it's already got like a
better than It's Always Sunny.
Apparently, that's what the headlines have been saying. And it's not. And it might be more up other people's alley. It just reminded me. It's a similar kind of like feeling I got when I was. Other movies where it's like, oh, it's so hard. It's like, no, it's not. Calm down. The other thing I watched, which was old, I revisited, was Kill Bill's Volume 1 and 2.
You and my dad both.
Very much enjoy those movies, and it's funny.
You should have watched it with him, by the way. You should have hit him up.
I should have hit him up. I wasn't thinking.
That was rude. You guys could have FaceTimed.
Yeah,
my dad, who's very young girlfriend, and you. It would have been so fun.
It would have been amazing. It was probably her first time seeing it.
It was.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, we revisited it, and it's so funny. This is kind of true of all of Quentin Tarantino's movies, but it is very true of this movie, the Kill Bill movies. It's like watching a movie made by other movies. If movies gained sentience and decided to make their own movie, that's what Kill Bills Volume 1 and 2 are, and I love it. I'm such a big fan of all of that. Sam and I, when the quarantine started, I pushed for a video series called Quentin Tarantino that our fans did not give a shit about.
Why did you like that? Come on, fans.
They didn't. Sam was on board. The fans were not. The views did not warrant us doing it. So we stopped. But I've still been watching the movies on my own time.
Are you a volume 1 or 2? Which one ranks in front of the other? I have a very hard time putting one. I think they're so dead even for me.
Yeah, and they're so different. They're so different. One very much lives in the action movie realm, and 2 has those elements. It is still an action movie, but it doesn't. It becomes interested in other things, other dramatic efforts. But there's stuff I like in both. Obviously I like the big climactic battle with Oren Ishii in 1, but I also like Pai Mei. Her training with Pai Mei is one of my favorite things in any movie, which is in Volume 2. What I really like, and watching a bunch of his movies back to back, I like the effort Tarantino puts into defining cultures and not just so. Obviously, follows the bride in Kill Bill, played by Uma Thurman, and so she's going to be trained by this classical Chinese kung fu master, which is a big part of other genre entertainment, but kind of falls into cultural appropriation and stuff like that. So I like the energy the movie puts into where Bill explains like Pai Mei hates Caucasians, Americans specifically, and women especially, and so like it really defines.
It's a good trifecta, yeah.
She is entering into Pai Mei's story. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And the effort it takes it puts into Oren Ishii, because I don't believe Lucy Liu is a Japanese actress. So it takes the time to say she's mixed with Chinese and how the Yakuza perceive that, and like it puts a lot of energy. It's the same thing with Inglourious Bastards, where he takes a lot of time to emphasize how important a bunch of Americans just can't go sneak into Germany. They have to know German, and they have to know it well enough that the Germans will pick up on the fact that they're not natural German speakers. Like that's a amount of specificity and energy most genre movies just don't put into their movies, and I think it's what makes stuff is kind of like cartoon logic as Kill Bill is, because the physics of that world operate on a like Evil Dead cartoonish level. The energy put into the logistics of why people do what they do and how that world operates and how people would react to certain things, I think is just even little lines like in Kill Bill Volume 2, when she's trying to find Bill, she talks to Bill's mentor, and she points out that like a lot of people that didn't know their dads, Bill collected father figures, and I have a good relationship with my father, but I've grown up with people that have had absent fathers, and that's I found that to be very true. And so like the just little, it doesn't mean anything, but little observations like that really
means everything.
Yeah, it tells you a lot about Bill in like one line about who this person is and why he is the way he is. And I love it. I love all those movies. It's been really fun to go back and revisit them, because people will talk about, Tarantino's like, especially for people of my generation, he's one of the biggest directors. And so people talk about like,
what does my generation mean?
30-year-old college white boys. We all love Tarantino.
Yeah,
every
my generation,
one of us.
I feel as if we're all. You couldn't say our
Famously,
generation.
DJ was born in 1835, but he time traveled when he was in his 20s to now. So that's what he's talking about.
I think
that generation loves these.
Aren't we kind of technically on? I think we're on a little bit of a borderline where maybe you guys are technically the generation after me, and I'm
No.
no.
You and I are both hardcore millennials.
Okay.
Sam is too, actually.
Yeah, I'm at the very. I'm at the end. The butt of the butt
we're
of it.
in the millennial, and then after Sam's the Gen Zers.
I do like Zoomer, by the way. I don't know who that applies to, but I do. I think that's a fun one.
Baby Zoomer.
Yeah, I think Zoomer is fun, especially. I don't know if Zoomer came because of what we're dealing with currently right now. Okay, but it works. But yeah, there's been a lot of like, is Pulp Fiction his masterpiece? Is Inglourious Bastards his masterpiece? And not to be too much of a fanboy, watching those movies, it's like I think there's an argument for each and every one of them in their own unique way, because they're all kind of doing something a little bit different, and they all have moments that are just like, damn, this is what makes movies as a medium great. I think there's an old saying that like what makes a good movie is a few great scenes and no bad scenes. Like that's the secret formula. And it's
you just have to be like not suck anywhere, and then also have some fire.
Yeah,
but mostly don't suck anywhere.
Yeah, because it doesn't need to be fire the whole time. That's just too high an expectation for yourself. But like, if you can get a couple, I think Werner Herzog is big. Like every movie, he wants to do one thing that you've never seen before in a movie. So like a couple of things like that, and then no bad scenes, and you're in the clear. And so it's cool to watch, movies where somebody clearly cares about the medium that much.
Again, DJ, you should have hit up my dad, because he would have done the podcast with you. Him and his lady friend have been doing an entire Tarantino binge. She's never seen any of them.
Classic.
But neither of them had seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and they just watched it for the first time and called and said it is a top 50 movie of all time and by far and away his best. But my dad's exact line was, I don't feel this Tarantino guy has lived up to his full potential yet.
Wow.
There you go. Well, he's got one more to do it. If he sticks to his guns, he's got one more movie to do it. But
I said, what?
Yeah.
Like he's not this Tarantino guy. Like he is the potential.
So I don't know if you know this or if you asked your dad this. Who is he comparing him to that has reached his potential?
I don't know. Like Clint Eastwood. I think
he does it. He's done good movies. I can't. But now every time I think about a Clint Eastwood movie, I can't think about that stupid fake baby in American Sniper.
You gotta let it go. You gotta let it go.
Do you remember at the RNC where he talked to that empty chair? I don't even remember what that is anymore. That's all I remember. So whenever I watch one of his movies, it just like comes blaring at me like a headlight. I'm just like, oh, remember that part?
Yeah.
Remember when he did that? And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So this, Sam. Talk to me about the decision to make this be the headlight symbol for you.
Yeah, headlight. I turn on like a flashlight. Click, click, beep, beep.
Roxy,
when a car comes, beep, beep.
Before we get lost into that, we talked about what we're into. What have you been into this week?
Yes. Okay. The thing that I finished binging this week was, have you heard of the Netflix show Never Have I Ever?
No.
It's the show that is based off of Mindy Kaling's life.
Okay.
And I don't know to what extent, but like in the first 30 seconds of the episode, so this is not a spoiler, you find out that there's a young Indian American girl. I think she's probably around 15. She's in high school, and she loses her dad, and she ends up. This is a real thing. I don't remember what it's called, like psycho something, but she lost the ability to lose her legs because she was so traumatized by losing her dad. And she loses the ability to walk for 2 months. This is a comedy, by the way.
Yeah.
She loses the ability to walk for
funny.
2 months, or for 6 months or something. And this is all told very quickly in like images and narration. And then she gains the ability to walk again. And we start with her in high school after like experiencing all this trauma and the people like being weird around her and her weird group of friends and her liking the hot guy and all this stuff. The show is fucking awesome, like so good, and really endearing and sweet, and unlike a lot of things that I've seen recently. So I binged through that really quick. The episodes are half hour also, so really more like 20 something.
Don't
minutes.
You love it when shows do that, when they're nice enough to know that, like, come on,
I don't have time for
40 minutes, 22 episodes.
Yeah,
don't be a dick.
I'm kind of glad we're moving away from that. There was a minute on FX where they were starting to experiment. Like, what if our episode was an hour and 20 minutes? No, what? Why? What are you doing?
Why are you
No,
doing
we don't want
that?
to watch a movie. That's
Yeah.
Yeah,
gross.
that was a Kurt Sutter move. FX decided to let Kurt Sutter do whatever he wanted with Sons of Anarchy, and then
Mhm.
everybody saw that and was like, "So
Ooh,
we
me
can do
too.
that." Yeah,
Yeah.
samesies though. And it was like his 74-minute episodes that were starting to take place, and then his 92-minute episodes, and he just kept going up.
Yeah.
That was a tough look, guys. Yes. Sam.
Oh, I saw one last thing I wanted to say. I've been doing
What
a
you got?
challenge, and I'm going to share it with you guys because I want to see if other people will do it with me. My girlfriend and I are watching a movie for every letter of the alphabet, and it has to be a movie we haven't seen. So we did A. We watched a movie that we hadn't seen that starts with an A. We did a B, and we just watched Cinema Paradiso for C, and it's a foreign film that won the 1988 Best Foreign Academy Award movie. It's an Italian film, and if you're a film lover or specifically a movie goer that loves that experience, watch that movie because it's
Can
one of
you
the
say it
sweetest.
again?
Cinema Paradiso, and it's
Cinema
beautiful.
Paradiso.
Cinema Paradiso.
Chipskis.
And it's
Mwah.
Italian, and it's great. And if you are a lover of film, and where we talk about films today, that movie's for you. Highly recommend it. Also, they're nice enough to make the movie an hour and 20 minutes. That's
Mhm.
easy.
That
Easy
is sweet
going.
of them.
That
You
was
guys,
nice of them.
let us know what you're watching at home this week. What did you binge? What did you finish? Which movie, TV show, comic book? What are you reading? All that great stuff. Albums you're listening to. A lot of musicians are dropping music during this time. I saw Ariana Grande and Lady Gaga just dropped a song together. It was
I
like
should have
big
watched that. I
news.
should have watched that because it's the video's directed by Robert Rodriguez.
Whoa, that's
Yeah.
cool.
It's Rain on Me, I believe
Mhm.
is what it's called.
Most of what I saw for that was talk about how the filter on Instagram does not look like rain on your face. It looks like a
Wow,
different
how
liquid.
rude.
Mm-hmm.
I
Or
also
intentional.
learned
Who's to say?
this week, I learned, DJ, that on Instagram, it's called a filter, and on Snapchat, it's called a lens.
Oh,
I'm hip. I'm
Alright.
with it. I'm cool.
I like
get
learning.
it. Yeah,
We
same.
all
I
like
learning
learning.
too. And you know who I like learning from? You guys at home. You are the absolute best. You're the rock stars and are they the boy people? What are they called for you guys?
They are the boy people, I believe. Wait, or the moist ears. What did we settle on?
Oh, they're the moist little ears.
Our
Yeah,
mythology has evolved. Our mythology has evolved.
and
since
maybe
So-
abandoned.
all of
Maybe
you
abandoned.
rocks, moist ears, rock star moisty ear peoples. That's where we nailed it.
If it
Let's
rolls
get
off
to
the
some
tongue,
of you
it works.
guys. Totally, just right out.
The
I
moist
will-
Roxy's. Stars, moist rock stars, the moist rock stars.
The moist Roxy's is a tough one.
It was too
Tough.
specific. I said it, and then I was like, nope.
Nobody wants a moist Roxy. I wish I didn't say that either. What I was trying to say was I'm going to look at you guys in the super chat and then also in the Streamlabs and also over on your guys' Discord, right? By the way, how do they get to your guy? How do they support? How do they get to Discord? How do they ask questions through Only Stupid Answers?
Easy peasy. Go to patreon.com/onlystupidanswers. Right now, we've set all of our stuff to $5. So if you video content, live streams, bonus shows that are on the Patreon, you can get them all right now for $5 and join us because we're doing a lot of fun stuff over there and you guys don't want you to miss out. But automatically, when you sign up, you join our Discord. So you can send questions, talk with other nerds, share your ideas. I've made
Patreon.com/onlystupidanswers, the $5 tier is how they can do it.
$5 dues.
What did you make you did a new what, Sam?
I made a new channel where we talk about our favorite food shows, and I wanted to give a shout out to Chopped because that show will get you through any hardship in your life.
Now, on the flip side, for people that are listening to this as the Only Stupid Answers podcast, Roxy, where can people find and support you?
Ooh, good one. Also on my Patreon, patreon.com/Roxy Stryer, and also in my Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. And for the people who are in here right now, Glenn Caesar is talking to us. He says, in honor of Larry Lease, because he's late, hit that thumbs up button, people. Larry always gets the first Streamlabs super chat of the day, but he is not here. So thank you, Glenn, for filling those shoes. I know the pain, the horror. How dare somebody miss the first few minutes of the stream?
Hope they're okay.
Wow, way to make me feel bad. You don't think he's okay?
It's hard to say. We don't know.
I
He's
just
not
want
here.
brownie
He can't
points.
tell us. Yeah.
I just want people to like me.
Guys, I feel like I do know. Speaking of the boy people, Danny Boy, remember when Roxy and Sam promised a rap battle?
I remember
Go away.
that.
Can we
Speaking
be
of Little
honest?
Dicky,
Who chickened out on that? Be honest.
I think it was. if I
It was
remember
Sam. It was
correctly.
Sam.
I
checked
mean,
it out.
I would hate to speak poorly of a friend, but it just seems like Roxy was the one who had doubts
Listen,
about it, and I wanted to respect that.
yeah, listen. I have no skin in this particular game. What I will say is that one of these people raps on her own, unprompted, pretty regularly.
Very true.
Yeah, that's all I'm going to point out, and then I'll slowly back away.
It's rude that one of us is a chicken and the other is a fox.
Could you imagine that in the Back to the Future franchise, Marty McFly gets in multiple physical altercations because someone calls him a chicken, and he loses his absolute mind? A man who has traversed time as if it were a skateboard ramp, and and someone calls him a chicken at the time where
very rude insult, Sam.
I've
heard worse. Pointed
Sam,
at me.
Now that you're bringing that up, it's also weird that they only introduced that in the second movie. It doesn't come up at all in the first movie.
Nobody calls anyone a chicken then.
Yeah.
Maybe there were no chickens then. Chicken Sam. Catherine, you're on to something.
Catherine, shush. Catherine, shush.
Bach. Is that the sound of chicken makes?
Wait. Could we do like a pay-per-view for your guys' rap battle?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. What was the Jake Paul and the Jake Paul fight? That was like $300.
Was it Logan Paul or Jake Paul? It was Jake.
Logan Paul was the main one, but Jake did.
An
Jake
undercard.
Did the other guy. Yeah.
Ooh, interesting. That made so much money. It made me feel very sick inside.
I did watch it.
Let's get to some of these questions coming in from your guys' Discord and my Patreon. I'm going to start with a Patreon question coming in from Robert McNeil. I told them to make sure that they got super nerdy with us because I know that we're going to be talking about nerd stuff today. Robert McNeil said, Cesar Romero, Jack Nicholson, Heath Ledger, Jared Leto, Joaquin Phoenix are all in a large building as their various Jokers, with Mark Hamill's Joker in charge of the event. Who is having tea with Roxy's Harley Quinn and Mark Hamill's Joker? Only one seat left. Describe the event. Then Harley, please ask the winner what they want in their tea.
Wow.
I mean, this is the most aggressive pitch I've ever heard.
Can you text it? Sorry, it's a lot. I don't know.
I think we're gonna
just
have to make our own question and answer it ourselves.
Yeah, I think if the question is, if I understand it correctly, is who's having tea with you, Roxy and Mark Hamill? And I think the answer would be the one that would probably be the most entertaining. If it's entertaining, it would have to be like Jack Nicholson's
Jack
Joker.
Nicholson or Cesar Romero.
Cesar Romero, he's the least likely to kill you.
Yeah. So if I'm having tea, for sure, Cesar Romero or Jack Nicholson. I don't want to have tea with Heath Ledger, Jared Leto, or Joaquin Phoenix. And then ask Harley what the winner wants in their tea. What do you think how do they take their tea?
That requires a level of knowledge about tea that I do not have.
I'm
just going to drink
my
tea.
It's like Irish. I would assume that they put some sort of alcohol in it because this is a Joker. But I would say Cesar Romero as well because he's the hottest. Yeah, he's hotter than Jared Leto with the abs. Are we insane? Okay. It's Cesar Romero. He's got a mustache that he painted over.
Let's take a Discord from you guys before we get into some of the main topies. We'll go back and forth.
Well, all our stuff is more directly. I think this will be our segue into the main.
Oh, cool, great. Love that.
So what kind of spawned this? We've been looking to do like a Super TV reunion for a while. And with the Super TV related stuff, that's kind of what prompted this conversation, specifically Ruby Rose dropping out of Batwoman. And then the Snyder Cut defying all the odds of being released sometime in 2021. It's being released in 2021. People are like, it's going to drop with HBO Max. No, it's not. It's coming in 2021.
2021 after they spend $30 million to make it.
Sure.
Apparently no reshoots. We're getting ahead of ourselves
here.
New reshoots.
Yes,
so let's start with Batwoman because that happened first.
Okay.
We've got this question from STS 2084. Did Ruby Rose effectively end her career? Will casting directors avoid casting her if they think she's flaky? Roxy, I throw this to you.
This is a good question. I've heard a lot of people ask about this. I don't think this makes her look flaky. I think it makes her look very specific with the roles that she would want to take. And I think that she clearly, you don't want to cast her in one of these roles because she clearly doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to be on set for 14-hour days, 7 days a week. She doesn't want that. So if you are a casting director who's looking to cast her in that role, will you no longer cast her? Probably. Was she fine on something like an Orange is the New Black? And could you cast her in something like that? Probably again.
The Meg
Or the Meg.
John Wick 2.
Yes. I actually got the pleasure of talking to Ruby Rose at the Meg junket.
Nice.
So great call, DJ. I actually enjoyed that movie more than most. But
it was fine.
She seemed lovely. She was joking around and seemed great and was happy about that movie and the set experience. So I think that this shouldn't make people avoid casting her in general, but maybe not in a role where she has to be very physical or there's incredibly long hours.
So I wanted, Roxy, I was curious your thoughts on, because when we were doing the show, you had thoughts about whether this was the right role for Ruby Rose at all, whether it kind of like devalued her star power while also maybe not being the best actress on that particular show. So I kind of wanted your thoughts on, like, is this good for Batwoman is this actually, I think a better question, is this good for Batwoman and good for Ruby Rose? Is this just like a mutually beneficial, we're both moving on and doing other things?
I think taking out their names. So if you take out the name Batwoman and you take out the name Ruby Rose, anytime a set and an actor are not happy being there, like a crew doesn't like working with the actor because of some reason, or the actor doesn't want to be on set, you don't want them there because it just causes bad energy. And for whatever reason, which I think even more information will come out in the following years of what was going on set, but for whatever reason, it does seem clear to me that Ruby Rose did not want to be there. And when you have a lead carrying your show who does not want to be there, it makes everything feel longer and like it sucks. So regardless of who this is or what the set is, I always think you never want to force somebody to be somewhere they don't want to be because it just makes the entire experience miserable.
Yes, I agree. And also just like, I know you'd have to have an idea of what you're signing up for when it comes to like a CW show like this. You would have been briefed by your agent and everything, like, and your friends. It wouldn't be an easy decision to make. But at the same time, it's like, it's hard to imagine, even talking with other stars of CW, DC shows, her show requires it all to basically be shot at nighttime. Like even with the crazy hours, she might have some semblance of a nightlife, maybe, maybe. But with the hours that are required to make a Batman show, you're going to basically be throwing away your entire week, each week for, what is it, like 9 months of shooting, something like that. It's crazy the amount of hours and full days that are completely dedicated to this. So yeah, if you don't have someone who is fully on board with that or can adjust to it, then yeah, it's going to suck. Also, there's just so much stuff that's already come out about the show that it hasn't been positive. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to like the PA that was paralyzed because of the show, and she was almost paralyzed because of an injury on set. Like I'll be honest, I'd be discouraged.
Right. Go ahead, DJ.
Well, I also wonder if it's something, like with our other shows, a lot of times this was their big break. I think the biggest difference would be somebody like Melissa Benoist, who was already kind of making headway into film, but Supergirl, and stuff like that. But this was very much an opportunity. Like Ruby Rose was already a celebrity. So maybe there was a feeling of like, I don't need to stick around here for my career to work. I just wanted to be Batwoman. And now I don't like doing this, so I'm going to fail because I could still show up in the Meg too.
But it's
unless she died. Did she get eaten in the Meg? I don't remember.
I don't remember either. It's strange to think though that because I'm under the assumption that they allowed her to leave, because if CW was not, if Warner Brothers was not, if DC was not, whoever makes the final decision was not letting her leave, she would not have been able to leave, because we've heard from Stephen Amell time and time again that he was in a airtight contract that he obviously willingly signed, but for 7 years, if they wanted him back, he was back because there was no say. So I would have a really hard time believing that they signed her to a 1-year contract. I don't think there's any world in which that took place. So she clearly wanted to go, but they also had to say, yeah, that's fine with us. No worries.
one of the, I don't know, it wasn't Berlanti. It was one of the other like heads that kind of like shepherds all these shows, was kind of talking about, this is actually a really good creative opportunity. Maybe it was one of those. This is a really great creative opportunity to figure out, this new actress and stuff like that. So it sounds kind of like, yeah, this is probably for the best for everybody involved. It's an amicable breakup,
which is nice. I kind of appreciate it being that way, instead of like, maybe rumors are going to come out because people are going to speculate and everything, like, hey, like what we're doing. But at the same time, it's like, it is nice to hear that, like, yeah, if it wasn't working, then it wasn't working, and you can move on. And there's already a lot of actresses that have shown interest, and there's some that like fans have already thrown their hat in the ring for them for possible replacements for Ruby Rose.
Right. That's true. I think the body wasn't even cold yet before people were like, yeah, no worries. Here, people. A couple other questions about this. Weston Ira in the Streamlabs said, remember when an assortment of morons said Captain Marvel needed to smile more? Same irrational notion here, since Ruby picked up the cowl. She gives me strong Keanu vibes. Glad she's gone, though, if she's not fully committed. But will the buzz help the show? What do you guys think about that? Is this going to actually be a good thing for Batwoman and give it kind of a second life?
You know what? I think it's going to create at least some buzz that could be positive, because I know that they are looking for an actor who is also in the LGBTQ community to take up the role as well. And I think that's pretty cool. So I think whoever they pick, it will be pretty positive buzz. And also, since it, like we said, it looks like an amicable breakup, it looks like it will be a pretty smooth transition, just depending. And I kind of like when Supergirl made its transition over to the CW from CBS. I feel like this could be a nice rejuvenation for the show. Maybe retooling where they want to go with I know they announced during the finale that we now know what Bruce Wayne looks like without him joining the show, which is cool. It's kind of like adding Superman to season 2 of Supergirl for a couple episodes. Immediately you were like, oh, whoa, this is super cool. Like it got me more interested in the show, and it might also become more enticing for new audiences or audiences that were on the fence.
Yeah. So it was, Roxy, you're right. It was, Guggenheim, who was talking about Batwoman, and he even said that like this will probably do well for the show because people will check in just to see how we handle it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with the reveal of Roxy, were you keeping up with Batwoman?
I was until I wasn't. I will finish it, but that was the one actually when we finished Only Stupid Answers Super TV Showdown that I continued watching. But I think I'm probably like 4 episodes behind.
Well, so the spoiler, sorry. The character of Hush had
I know about all. I know about Hush. I know about Hush.
Yeah. And so he is now supposed to look like Bruce Wayne, and that actor is Warren Christie. So they've effectively casted Bruce Wayne. And now with this new actress, I think Sam making the comparison to Supergirl changing networks. I think at least those first few episodes that there will be. I mean, we might even check back in just to see like, well, how's it doing? It is a bummer I think their best bet, what I would like to see, is that nobody acknowledges it. We just move on. This lady's Batwoman now. We're just moving on. But if they wanted to like lampshade it, they had the perfect opportunity with Crisis. If she'd been
that's why
early,
torn.
Like, it's just like, oh, reality change, whatever. We're moving on.
So you think that they should just literally never say anything?
One of the things I hated most about Crisis, which I overall enjoyed, but something that bothered me every time they did it, is whenever they lampshaded the fact that Kingdom Come Superman looked like the Atom. It's like, let's just it's the same actor, one's Superman, one's Atom, don't acknowledge it. Let's just not even, and every time he was on screen, they're like, wait, you look like the Atom. And it's like, don't do that. That's stupid.
No, I like that stuff.
I did too. I don't know what you're talking about.
Then maybe they should acknowledge. Maybe it's just a me thing. I think for me, it's just like, move on.
Just like you have to make some kind of joke, like a la Aunt Viv, Fresh Prince, some kind of something. You got to say
classic, like facial reconstruction after like an accident. Like, oh no, Batwoman was beat in the face with a baseball bat or something. And it's like she just got back from facial reconstruction.
Now she is 6 inches shorter and her
different voice.
Different voice. But actually, there's a precedent for that on the show with the Hush now. You know what I mean? Like that whole facial reconstruction thing works. Do you guys have like picks? I know, Sam, you were telling me about an actress that could fit as Batwoman that people were banding about online. Do you guys have like a preferred replacement?
I'm going to go ahead and make sure I double check who that actress is.
I have
just so
one.
I have it.
Roxy.
So she's a friend of mine, but she was an AfterBuzz host, and then she's now a superstar with the WWE. She is the first openly lesbian superstar in the WWE, and she has thrown her name into the ring. Her name is Sonya Deville in the WWE, but her real life name is Daria Baronetto, and she is really, really perfect for this. She's buff like crazy, but so could do all of her own stunts, but is a really strong actress. She is the one who's cutting the best promos right now. We actually have the same acting coach as well, and I know that she's been training. Sean Whalen, shout out to you. But I think that she would be great, and I know that they said that they want an up and comer, somebody who's an unknown. I don't know if she counts as an unknown because obviously she has a little bit of a following, but an unknown maybe in this world. And she is a proud member of the LGBTQ plus community, so I think she'd be a great fit. I know there's ways that I can show pictures of things.
I just looked her up. Yeah, I just looked her up. She looks like she could be a good fit.
She would be a very good fit.
I also like that we want to know. We want somebody that's not going to leave us for the Meg too.
Yes, and also we know for a fact that she can put in. I like somebody from the WWE who can act because they can put in the hours, because there is no harder job than being in the WWE. It is legitimately like the most hours, and you are working 365 days a year, and you get no breaks and you get no holidays. So there's no way that it's going to be an overwhelming schedule for somebody like that. Sam, who is your person? Do you know?
I was trying. It popped up. It popped up on Instagram a couple times. But actually, I found a list that Screen Rant did that I can just kind of look at as well. Also, I know we saw Stephanie Beatrice from Brooklyn Nine-Nine through her hat in the ring, and I like her a lot. So I would.
Oh yeah, my brother was saying that was his pick.
For me, she's a perfect Renee Montoya. If they ever wanted to be she'd be my number one pick for Renee Montoya. I
don't know where my Grimm fans are at, but if you're in the chat, please sound off if you miss Grimm. But actress Jacqueline Taboni, she played another Grimm that showed up, another like monster hunter that showed up in like season 3. I think they wanted to have more people who can see the monsters and hunt them together, and with the main lead guy. But she's really good. She's a really strong presence, and she turns into like such a badass as the show progresses. I think she'd be really good, and she's kind of in that like TV realm where I think that they were kind of setting up. I don't know if this was on purpose, but
what is her name? Atlas?
Jacqueline.
Oh, Jacqueline.
Jacqueline Taboni. Toboni.
I think I saw her recently on something. I think she was on the show I was just talking about.
Was it Grimm?
No, never have I ever. I think that she was on that. I think
she's great. I really like her. And she is I don't know. I mean, I guess Grimm is an older show now. It's not the oldest, but I still think she's in like the age range to play a character like this. And I'll be honest, I don't know when it comes to her sexual orientation. I don't know. So that would be up to you guys at home to do the Googling for. But
isn't it make you feel so icky when you have to Google that about somebody? Like I don't even know how to type that in.
And even being like, hey, you guys figure it out.
Yeah. Well, speaking of,
I think she's a really strong actress, and I think she would do a good job in a CW DC role like this. And she seems, from the interviews I've seen and the roles she's played so far, she's got an action adventure background, and I think she would be very strong in this role.
I put her up on here for you guys to check out. Also, she's not who I was thinking she was, but here are the names that we've thrown out so far, or the people. All of them look fierce and fabulous. So let's go.
We also have a suggestion in the Discord from Thierry Fournier, who says Olivia Thirlby from Dread 2012 would be perfect new Batwoman. The actress is a bisexual Jewish actress that we know can kick ass. And of course, in the comics, Batwoman is Jewish, and also I'm a big fan of Dread from 2012. So yes, please.
I know we've talked about this a little bit, but Steven Summers says, "Did Ruby kill her career?" I guess just a quick yes or no from you guys. Do you feel like she killed her career?
No,
I don't think so. I think give her like a little sabbatical for a second while we're all quarantined up. But she'll be fine. She'll be fine.
Also, go ahead, DJ.
Yeah, I also think if she'd been like fired, that's different. I think this is portrayed in a light that it just wasn't a good fit. So
And Rainer says, pull Iron Man 2. Look, it's me. I'm here. Deal with it for Batwoman. Done.
That is the line that Don Cheadle says right when he shows up, because we rewatched it recently. I was like, oh yeah, that's how they dealt with it. They were just like, can we just tell the movie?
And maybe that's a good way. That's a good split the difference. It gives me a little bit of my like, hey, let's just move on, but also lampshades it a little bit. So it's a little bit of the best of both worlds. Like we acknowledge it, but also we're moving forward.
Address it, but then just move forward. Don't make it the running joke. F-Rain, thank you for your support. Appreciate you, my friend. Also, I wanted to get to a couple more questions in here, and then yes, the Snyder Cut. Of course, we will be talking about it. But before we move on, any more final Ruby Rose thoughts from you guys?
You know what? I hope she's okay. Like that's awful to hear, but like stunt accidents when it comes to like the PA, being paralyzed, that's awful. Yeah. And also Ruby getting hurt as well. Like when they were talking about the injury, I just kind of read up on like what exactly happened, and it's just awful. And like I know there's a lot of stress now, not just because of the quarantine, but on this show to have to like adapt to a new season and what that's going to look like exactly. But you know what? Wish the best to both parties. It seems like they're okay. So
DJ, you too?
Yeah, same.
All right, great. Moving to a couple other questions that are going on in here, guys. We're going all over the board today. Some strange things happening. Weston Ira says, hashtag Sadoxy. That's, I guess, all three of our together ship name.
Very good.
Sam, DJ, Roxy. Great. Hashtag Sadoxy is the biggest crossover since the Avengers tangled with the X-Peeps. Do you believe... Oh, this is kind of leading into the Snyder Cut. Do you believe the Snyder Cut is better off being made and released as it's going to be rather than back when it was originally made? Also, rip Hana Kimura. I don't know who Hana Kimura is, but Snyder Cut.
Oh, that was that. What? I wasn't. Never mind. Sorry. Never mind.
You thought you knew who Rip was, but we don't know who we're resting in peace for. Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess then let's jump into this with Weston's question about the Snyder Cut. Do we think that the Snyder Cut is better off being made and released as it's going to be rather than when it was originally being made? DJ?
Hana Kimura was a Japanese wrestling star that passed away.
Oh,
just today,
yes,
I believe,
I saw that
as of this recording. Yeah. So that's what he's referencing there. Yeah.
DJ, what do you think? Snyder Cut better off being made and released as it's going to be, or would have been better if we had seen it originally?
I think the Snyder Cut will receive better. Will probably if it receives good press, it will receive it better now than it would have at the time. Because at the time, it just would have been another Zack Snyder DC movie and would have carried the baggage of what that franchise was already handling.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Now it is being compared to Justice League, which fairly or not has been kind of thrown in the dumpster. And so I think even if it's not a good movie, just because of popular perception of Justice League, it will probably compare better.
Sam, what do you think? A lot of nods from you during that.
I want to make sure it look like I'm listening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like I'm listening. Like my Wi-Fi didn't cut out for a second. I just went. Hopefully they can see me.
Yeah.
So sorry to reiterate. This is it. Will it be better or
is it better that it's being released now than if we had just originally seen a Snyder Cut?
I gotta back up my boy DJ. There is a build up to it, and even though I enjoy Justice League, I'm not going to go to bat for it. I don't care enough. I don't care.
Are you going to go to Batwoman for it?
To bat Fleck for it. No, it's just like it's just interesting. It's something very different that you haven't really seen before. I mean, now there's kind of a precedent with fans speaking out, to put it very positively, about a movie, like with Sonic and other films. So there's just it's just interesting now. It's got a hook outside of it being the first Justice League movie where you see Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman and Flash and Aquaman and Cyborg together. It's more about seeing this specific version of that film. I think is this like the most popular like director's cut that's going to be released.
It
You know
feels
what I mean?
that way. It does feel that way. I don't know that that's the case because we've only lived our lives in the way that we've lived them. But to me, it seems that way. And I think that the interesting news that came out today, maybe, is about the fact that we knew that they were giving $20 to $30 million for this cut to be finished, for it to be released in 2021. However, today I read that money is to be used for post-production only. We will not be doing reshoots with any of the main cast members. So this is for special effects, etc. DJ, thoughts on that?
I mean, if you're going to do it, it makes sense because you can't do. Remember, so I think it's safe to say that Avengers Endgame was incredibly well received. And then they released, it went back to theaters with a new scene, and everybody was excited about the new scene. And they even said the new scene is a scene with Hulk with unfinished effects. It's just to give you an idea of what was in it. They spelled it out in front of a movie that everybody loved, and then people saw it and they ripped it to shreds. So now we're talking about a movie that is not as universally loved. And so if they come out with the Snyder Cut and it's not like polished, finished looking, then that whole Snyder Cut crowd is just going to continue to bitch and moan that we still haven't seen the quote unquote true Snyder Cut.
But DJ,
and if there's one positive thing we can get out of this is that hopefully the Snyder Cut crowd will shut the fuck up.
Okay, but let me ask you this, and maybe I'm ignorant, and maybe I wish I was more in the movie space than I was, but $30 million seems like a lot of millions
with no actors attached to that. That's just going to a VFX budget. That's a lot. You could do a lot with
right?
that.
Yeah,
it's a lot. I mean, that's more than a lot of movies' entire budgets. Like the whole movie has. I mean, come on, that is so much money. I don't think any of us thought when they announced the $20 to $30 million that this was all for effects after. But you guys heard about the screening he did at his house, the black and white screening that Snyder had done.
Yeah, something along those lines. Yeah,
he screened it for HBO, Warner Brothers, and all these people, and that's how they signed off. And they must have thought, okay, the only thing this needs is
$30 million more dollars.
Just honestly, we could get it done with just 30 million. I know you guys usually do 50, but 30, we can get it done.
Yeah, we can knock it out of the park for 30 million.
That's crazy.
Go ahead.
No. Say what you're gonna say.
Steven says, "Does the Snyder Cut mean we will get Batfleck back?" So yes, in terms of the fact that he will be in it. No, in terms of the fact that he won't be coming to film it, right?
Yeah, well, not only will he not be coming to film it, if the question is supposed to be will we get more Batfleck movies? No.
Oh, no. Batfleck Back in the Future? No.
Yeah, like maybe Robert Pattinson. No. Also, Robert Pattinson's going to be a great Batman.
By the way, I would love if some of that money, fix Superman's face, just fix his face. You can fix. You have enough money now. You can fix it. Danny Boy. Yes. That's $30 million. You could easily fix his face. By the way, the Corridor crew does a really good breakdown of why in that cell phone footage it had to be so much of his face reconstructed because of the way muscles move on your face, and you can't just like blur this and it wouldn't make the rest of it work. Anyways, worth checking out if you're interested in how that turned out the way that it did. But I would love to see Ben Affleck's Batman just slowly start to morph into Robert Pattinson's Batman as the movie progresses. It's like the key scenes, that's Ben Affleck. You can't get around that. And when he's in the bat suit, that's him. But when he's like out and about, it's like I just saw a photo, like a deep fake of the Kingdom Come Superman from Crisis on Infinite Earths, but with Christopher Reeve's face on it. And I was like, yeah, there you go. There you go. Now we can
do that with Robert Pattinson.
Blurring the lines. We can kind of it will now in people's brains it will be Robert Pattinson.
They're gonna add one scene where Ben Affleck's like, when I was younger, and he lifts up a picture and it's Robert Pattinson for some reason.
What are you guys hoping for? Do you hope that this is a 6-hour movie? Do you hope that this is a mini series? Do you hope that this is a 3-hour? Like, what are you hoping that HBO Max is actually releasing?
I'm gonna be honest. I think I heard the 6-hour, I heard the 4-hour, and then I heard the 6-hour series or whatever the installments, whatever they want to call it. But I would personally, I wouldn't mind. I think it's actually kind of interesting if they did it as installments. I think you could kind of build some hype with it, and you could have kind of episodic interest in it. But also, I don't think it's fair to make someone sit down for 4 hours to watch something. That's a little mean. It's not a documentary. We got to be able to walk away from this.
Also, and maybe you guys are different from me. Can you think about a single Zack Snyder movie that you loved? That you were like, oh, this movie is way for me, and I'm way into it.
It might be the wrong person to ask, because there are people that do love 300.
Yeah. The thing for me is I like Zack Snyder, the person, better than I might like some of his work. I think that he is, from every interview and every interaction that people have been talking about, I think that he's very he just seems like a great positive light, and I like that. But you guys know I was not a fan of Man of Steel, which is the one that people seem to be a fan of if you're going to be a fan. I'm a pretty big Watchmen person. I really do love that movie. And I think he does such a beautiful job in general. He just is, everything's so pretty and beautiful.
Everything visually looks cool.
Yes. But would I say he is my number one favorite director? That's not the words maybe that would come out.
That you'd be willing to sit down and watch an 8-part whatever.
That would be a little tough.
I don't know. I hope it's something. I hope it's whatever that just helps us move on as a society. Because I'm going to be honest. I like Justice League. I think it's a perfectly fine movie. I think it's as good as any of the mid-tier Marvel movies. There's some wonky CGI stuff, but if we're being honest, there's wonky CGI stuff in Black Panther. There's wonky CGI stuff in Infinity War. You know what I mean? And not that one justifies the other or any of that stuff.
I hear you though.
But for me, that's not as much of a deal breaker. And by the way, I'm not saying Justice League is Black Panther. I think I like Black Panther more than Justice League, but I also like Justice League. I like that movie. And I think the stuff that I liked about it, I liked that Batman had a personality. It didn't seem like his ass was puckered the entire time. He was able to communicate with people. I liked that. I liked that we spent time really emphasizing what Superman meant to people. I don't know if the two previous movies laid the groundwork for that, but I appreciated what we did. So I don't know what this movie could provide. There was just a report today. I'm pulling this from Screen Rant. I don't know where they got it from, but actor Ray Porter has confirmed that he plays Darkseid in the movie.
Yeah, I saw that. That was on Twitter, DJ. So he tweeted out. Yeah. Have you been looking at this? You haven't seen the tweet? Okay.
And also, if you don't know who Ray Porter is, I know him as a very, very minor role on Justified. So does that excite people that it's not like Javier Bardem is Darkseid, it's Ray Porter? I don't know. But then again, I'm not the right person. I never cared about the Snyder Cut. I never cared. I never felt like I needed it.
I think it's more about Darkseid than it is about Ray Porter.
Yeah, I guess so. But wouldn't you want somebody cool to be Darkseid? Nothing against Ray Porter. Nothing against Ray Porter. He's a perfectly fine actor.
DJ, I saw his tweet yesterday, and I tweeted. I don't know if you guys saw this, but pretty much mimicking exactly what he tweeted. But I said, so much amazing release the Snyder Cut news coming to light because I've finally been given permission by no one but myself. Hi, I'm Roxy, and I played Killer Frost in Zack Snyder's Justice League. What a career-defining moment it was. Can't wait to see myself on HBO Max. Ooh, that did not go over well.
Really?
Everybody congratulating me. My brother.
So it did go over well. So it did go. I thought people were going to be mad at you.
So then I had to put out a tweet saying I'm incredibly flattered that you guys thought I was capable of this, but I am not Killer Frost. People were not happy that I did that. They were like, why are you trolling us like this? I thought it was funny.
Dude, this Snyder Cut crowd does not mess around. I made a tweet that I was like, hey, maybe now we can all move on. And I was getting tweets as if they were family members of Zack Snyder. How dare you?
I know.
And it's you don't know this person. He's done... it blows my mind how much the internet will come to the defense of people that they do not know, have done nothing tangible to benefit their lives. This person doesn't mean anything to you.
I-
You like some of their movies.
I'm
I would
super pro the Snyder Cut, and I'm really happy that we're getting it. I was not always on board because I don't feel like we are allowed to be as entitled as some people have been about demanding certain cuts of movies. But I am for this, and I was especially for it when they ended up raising hundreds of thousands of dollars for suicide prevention, and there were so many causes that got involved, so many companies, Subway and etc., who got involved with raising money.
Wait,
so I'm
Subway
for
got
us.
involved with the Snyder Cut.
Yes, you
They're
don't
an
remember
official
that?
sponsor, Sam. Where do you think that $30 million is coming from?
They,
From Meatball Subs.
they had like a whole sub situation, and they were giving a ton of money and food and all this stuff for all towards suicide prevention, obviously in honor of Zack Snyder's familial situation. But I agree with you, DJ, that the thing that's happened since is people who are getting the Snyder Cut, who have been fighting for the Snyder Cut, are now saying, haha, told you all so, you all suck, apologize to us, bitches. And it's like, how about you say like, wow, I'm so excited for this movie I've been fighting for so many years. This is so great. Thank you.
No,
Thank you.
And I will say, because I have voiced some opposition to the Snyder Cut crowd, and wow, did they turn fast. It was the same thing when I said that I liked The Last Jedi, and people lost their minds in ways that was like, you guys know that you're not the good guys in this situation, right? Roxy, I do agree. Raising money for suicide prevention, that is very noble and is very sweet that they did that. And they did it in the name of Zack Snyder's daughter. And for Zack Snyder, I think that is very sweet. I do think it's very telling, though, like you said, that as soon as the news came out that they were getting the Snyder Cut, that's how they behaved. So it's like I think it's very telling of the true intentions, but that's not. I can't discount the good that they did on behalf of this cut of this movie. And I think it is. They have made this situation very complicated.
Tumultuous.
And I think it's reached a point for me, at least, that I have to kind of just go.
Yeah,
it's just like we are of course going to watch this, and I'm at least like curious because I like Ray Fisher as Cyborg. There are elements of like the Flash scenes that I liked, and I want to see like Superman and all of them together. Like Aquaman in that movie was really cool, and also he has the older costume.
You just mentioned Flash, and I have I want to get to that.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Eric Kern says he was done filming in 4 months of post-production when he was let go. True, but going to the Flash thing you just said, we have seen the footage of Ezra Miller choking a girl and bringing her to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
This has not been addressed by Warner Brothers. This has not been addressed by publicists. Nobody has said anything. What are we going to do? We're just going to release the Snyder Cut in which Ezra Miller is in it and never say anything about the fact that we watched him take a woman fan and bring her to the ground? Like,
correct me on this, Roxy. I think when I read about it, because like it's bad. It's bad. But it was that he was being harassed by fans, or that's what the story
at a bar
in Iceland or something, and then he like throttled her.
Yes.
It was like he was like big overreaction and wrong. He is in the wrong, by the way. Let me say that. Need to get that out there.
Yes, you are right, Sam.
What's that guy's name that was in that movie, the Sean Penn movie, where he goes out in the wilderness and gets himself killed because he's an idiot? Emil Hirsch. I mean, like, he attacked a woman and he's still in movies and shit like that. I think we'll do what we always do and just kind of like pretend that it didn't happen. But I do think this transitions into a question I have for you guys.
Yes.
That I think plays into that. Danny Boy from the Discord, hypothetical. Let's say the Snyder Cut is amazing. What positive effects come from it? Do you see a cyborg movie being made? Question. And I think that pertains to what you're saying, Roxy, because I think of the three of us, you were the most vocal of not loving Ezra Miller's Flash. But then I think we all had the same reaction when we saw Ezra Miller in Crisis on Infinite Earths, seeing our Barry basically give permission to that Barry to exist made like him good. More.
Yeah. Yes.
And I would think that could be a positive that we see from Justice League, because obviously Robert Pattinson's Batman now, but as far as Ezra Miller's Flash and maybe Ray Fisher's Cyborg, maybe if this does well, this adds a little bit more heat to that fire, and into this specific case, kind of puts that other fire, if not out, into the back of people's minds so they don't think about it.
I mean, initially when we announced our slate, I'm pretty sure that Cyborg was announced for either a 2019 or 2020 movie.
Yeah.
obviously that's not taking place, but do I think Ray Fisher makes an amazing cyborg? Yes. Would I love some kind of cyborg movie, maybe even a cyborg Flash movie? Yes. Do I
maybe
see
a
that
cyborg HBO Max special,
something like that? Yes. Do I see that happening in the next year? For sure not. So, I do think they had plans with Ray Fisher, and then I think that they didn't have plans, and that's how we started to see him in True Detective, and he's been
great in that show, by the way.
Yeah, he's excellent, but I think a lot of these actors were no longer even on hold because they had no intention of using him for years.
Yeah, so
with after Aquaman came out and with the success of the Shazam and stuff, I think there's some room for like maybe you do like a new post-credit scene for the Snyder Cut with like Shazam or other characters, or you tease like a follow-up, and I think you could actually reignite like that. We can't say that the DC movies aren't popular. Like Wonder Woman 2 is coming out, you have Shazam 2, you have Black Adam, you've got Aquaman 2 or the Trench spinoff being developed. There's like a lot of movies that are still being in development that people are going to watch and they're going to make billions of dollars, but I think it just doesn't feel like there's like a lot of forward momentum in terms of excitement for these movies as a connected like story. Yeah. And I think this could be a nice little shove for whoever takes over next, whoever makes the next movie. And that would be cool to see.
Yeah. DJ, any other Snyder Cut thoughts, comments, Discord things that we want to get to? Because I do have some other things that I want to talk to you guys about before I let you go.
Let's move on to those. I do have one question, and you guys don't need to answer because I don't know how we're supposed to know, but I do wonder, and I'm going to wonder out loud, kind of the opposite of Danny Boy's question. If the movie sucks, will the Snyder Cut crowd be able to admit it?
No. This movie already has a 97% audience score.
Cool. Perfect.
That's not really true, but that is true.
Yeah.
It's going to be the studio's fault and it'll be something else. And I don't know.
Joss Whedon snuck in before they, what if they're like, okay, we're dropping the Snyder Cut, and the thing that goes online is just Justice League again. It's just the Justice League we got.
That'd be crazy. That would be crazy, and people don't even notice, and they're like, "This Snyder Cut's amazing,
so much better." They changed the filters on things, so it's a little bit darker and harder to see. They're like, "Oh, it's so cool."
All right, so moving forward to a couple of these things, nerding out with some of the people in the Patreon. Glenn Caesar said, "Hello, Roxy, Sam, and DJ. Happy Saturday. It's great to have a reunion for Super TV Showdown, and thanks for joining Roxy and virtually hanging out with us today. Hashtag Rockstars Band, hashtag Boy People. This question is for Sam and DJ. In a Survivor Series style 8-person elimination match between Team Avatar, Aang Sun Tenzin, Toph, Katara, and Zuko, and Team DC, Cyclone, Maxine, Hunkle, Terra Markov, Killer Frost, Heatwave, McRory. Which team wins and who survives? Also, which eliminated power bending style would you choose? Water, ice, air, fire, and earth.
These questions are so detailed.
Can I tell you guys that I don't understand anything that just happened?
So I think what happened, Sam, help me out here. I think what happened was, the idea was Team Avatar versus Team DC, and on Team DC, they tried to find characters that matched the Team Avatar's powers. Yeah, because that's the only situation I could see Maxine Hunkle coming up.
Yeah, no, that character's been gone for 60 to 80 years. I'll say I think Team Avatar. Also, great that you said Toph. The character's name is Toph, and she's great. That's not knocking it. Toph, not knocking you, but it is a very good question. I would go for Team Avatar just because the battles I've seen on screen with those characters have been unbelievably emotionally impactful and just awesome. And I don't think I've ever seen Toph lose because I just don't think she can. I just don't.
I agree with Sam. And if who survives, last man standing, it would be Toph.
I feel like even throwing Toph on any team, you're just like, well, they're probably going to win.
Yeah. Also, maybe Zuko, just because of my undying love for that character.
Can you talk about the water, ice, air, earth, or fire aspect of this?
So in Avatar, the premise is people in that world have elemental abilities based on water, earth, fire, or air. And then some of those people's abilities, so if you're a water bender, sometimes you can also bend ice. So I think that's...
Which one do you guys... He wants to know which one do you choose to bend?
Easy. I'm going to be a waterbender for sure. Because also
Yeah, duh,
we see
same.
also on my Instagram, I posted someone when we were doing a review show for Legend of Korra, the spinoff from Avatar. Someone did us as benders, which was really cool. So I waterbending because you can make ice, you can make steam. At some point, you can control plants because there's water in them. And the scary one is blood bending. People can control people's bodies, and that I don't want to do that because that's the bad guys do that one.
The bad guys do that one.
I'm gonna blood bend.
If I could pick, I would pick fire. I do remember when our boy, I think it's Anthony Rosario, right, who did the art of us. I think at the time, because we did that show with Raina, and she got to be a firebender, and I was an earthbender. But the caveat I was able to give was like, maybe I can be a lava bender. Yes. Split the diff a little bit. But yeah, if I had to choose, it'd be firebending because that shit's cool.
Wow. The strange questions are continuing. Sugar Gum in the Streamlabs says the list of men hitting up your dad rocks are currently Ellis for your hand in marriage, Coy for Boston bonding, and DJ for Kill Bill commentary. Yeah, my dad has a lot of different interests that comes up on the show often. Nice. Can we ever expect an Only Stupid Answers to take a whirl at something with the Whirl Girls? So we've been doing this thing called the Whirl Girls on my stream with Darina, Steph, and myself, and we give things a whirl. And we're starting to bring guests on to give things a whirl / judge us giving things a whirl. So definitely, I have to figure out what we would give a whirl with you guys. It'd have to be something that we had never tried before. So I'll keep you guys posted. But if you have ideas, let me know.
Fire spinning
for sure. Yeah, something with something with that.
Something safe like that.
Something safe that nobody get hurt.
Glenn Caesar said, "Thanks for doing this, Roxy, Sam, and DJ. What a fun way to spend a Saturday with our own Supergirl, Green Arrow, and The Flash. I know y'all are crazy busy, but could we get a Super TV Showdown reunion like this, maybe once every 2 or 3 months or so?" I definitely think we could make that happen.
I think so too.
We could do it. We have the technology.
That's true. We're the Zoomer generation.
Now's a bad time to do it because all the shows are off the air.
That's true.
So this is when we would go on hiatus anyway. And as I think I've discussed with both of you, I also have not watched a single one of those shows since we stopped Super TV.
Maybe we make our own shows, and that's what we give a whirl.
And these won't come back until 2021. So we've got a whole chunk of a year until anything happens.
Who knows? Super TV might come back by then.
That's very true. Guys, anything else going on your end before we get out to here?
Yes, please go follow me on Twitter at Sam Basher, because now that Avatar The Last Airbender, that's at Roxy, which you should check out. Since it's available now for people to watch, at least in the US, I'm going to be revisiting it with a special guest. We're locking it in.
Who is it? What is it? Tell us.
It's called One More Time, and you can subscribe anywhere you get your podcasts, and also my YouTube channel and everything. I'm just trying to put it everywhere I can. But it's revisiting the show, and I'm going to be revisiting it with someone who has not watched it. Perfect. So I'm pretty excited to see what they think, because I want to do that show again, and also that show Avatar: The Last Airbender just is pretty perfect. It's got like 1 or 2 okay episodes, but overall it's like very, very solid all the way through. So very excited. Go check that out.
Should I do it?
Yes.
You should join in. Roxy, you didn't know you're the guest on a show.
That's what I was talking about. I was going to ask you after we were done.
Ooh, we found out I am a firebender, so
there it is. Once again, I gotta be an earthbender.
I know. Thank you to Jake for throwing up all these links. But as I'm showing you guys where you can find the Only Stupid Answers boy people, DJ, where are you? What are you? Who are you? How are you?
Yeah, you can follow me at DJ Talks Trash every place that matters. I've been kind of at my writing cave recently, so not as many posts, but hopefully you'll be seeing new stuff soon. I'm kind of trying to use this whole world situation to do creative things that will hopefully pay off when things are allowed to pay off again.
I feel that. I feel that. All right, guys. I'm Roxy Stryer. You can find me at Roxy Stryer. I don't want to let my boy people go, but now, based on Glenn Caesar, we're going to be doing this every 2 to 3 months with or without the shows. Apparently, there's news anyway to talk about. Sam, DJ, round of applause for you guys at home.
Thank you. Round of applause for Roxy. Yeah, so if you're on the flip side of this, listening to the Only Stupid Answers podcast, check out Roxy at Roxy Stryer and follow her live at the Roxy for other cool shows and conversations like this with weirdly complicated questions.
Yes, very
so detailed. But you can follow our podcast at Only Stupid Answers.
Yank out the vowels from stupid on Twitter.
Are you the rudest person on the planet, Sam?
No.
Are you the rudest person on the planet?
Wait, rewind. Let's try this again. You can follow us at Only Stupid Answers.
Yank out the vowels from stupid.
Thank you, Roxy, for jumping in that on the first time. We didn't have to do it a second time. We did the first time perfectly.
Yes, edit.
Yank out the vowels from stupid.
Glenn Caesar even said it.
Sorry, there was a delay on my end. There was a delay.
Let us even have it, Sam. It's just so mean.
Okay, we'll do it again. Yank out the vowels.
Yank out the vowels from stupid.
There we go.
Stupid.
I'm glad I was in on the joke. There's a little delay on my end. Hopefully, it isn't messing up the show too bad.
You don't even understand how much I've been waiting for that moment. It was just like you ripped my soul.
Well, we're going to be doing it every 2 months anyway. And then or you can listen to new podcasts every Monday. We drop new episodes, and we've been doing reviews of Harley Quinn and Stargirl and all the DC Universe shows at youtube.com/Only Stupid Answers.
That one, keep the vowels in the stupid.
Yes, that one, the vowels stay right where they are.
Place them right there.
Yeah.
Sam Yeats, this is almost true. Sam Cheats, this is definitely true. And DJ is the best. That's how you know all those things. All right, guys. I'll see you tomorrow live at the Roxy at 1 p.m. They'll see you. When's your next stream, guys?
Just follow us. New videos coming out Mondays and Fridays on youtube.com/Only Stupid Answers. Boom.
Yeah, just follow us at Only Stupid Answers.
Yank out the vowels from stupid.
Yank out the vowels from stupid. Sorry.
Sam,
Sorry, I stepped on Roxy.
Right.
Sorry, I stepped on Roxy's.
You blew it. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Yank out the vowels from stupid.